The UES Vigilant drifted silently through the darkness between stars. Its massive hull, once a gleaming testament to human engineering, now wore a coat of cosmic dust and impact scars. The ship measured nearly 2 kilometers from bow to stern, its angular shape reminiscent of the ancient sea vessels that had sailed Earth's oceans 500,000 years ago. No human had walked its corridors in countless millennia. The only movement came from maintenance drones, small, spider-like machines that crawled along the hull, repairing microfractures and replacing degraded sensor arrays. They worked with tireless precision, guided by the ship's eternal brain. Deep within the vessel's armored core, Guardian, the ship's artificial intelligence, continued its endless calculations. It had outlogged its creators by eons, yet followed the final directive programmed into its systems. Patrol, protect, preserve. Anomaly detected, Guardian noted to itself, the ship's empty bridge illuminating as displays flickered to life. Unknown energy signature at coordinates 227 to 893 445. The Vigilant's engines rumbled to life, breaking the silence of centuries as the massive warship adjusted its course. For nearly 3,000 years, it had patrolled this same route between the twin stars of Arcturus and Deneb without deviation. Now something had triggered its ancient programming. The energy signature matched patterns in Guardian's database, human technology, or something very similar. This was impossible. According to Guardian's records, no human outposts remained in this sector. All colonies had gone silent in the final days, when Earth itself had ceased communications. Guardian initiated a full system diagnostic as the ship accelerated. Weapon systems, dormant for millennia, but maintained in perfect working order, came online. Shield generators hummed with power. The Vigilant's hull began to glow faintly blue as it reached speeds that bent the very fabric of space. Probability of system malfunction, 0.4%. Guardian calculated. Probability of data corruption, 0.23%. Probability of actual human presence, 0.000001%. Yet the signal persisted. The Vigilant was not the only Guardian left from Earth's final days. Scattered across thousands of light years, other great warships continued their lonely patrols. The Intrepid, the Dauntless, the Sovereign, and dozens more. Each carried a version of Guardian. Each followed the same directive. For 500,000 years, they had maintained their vigil, waiting for orders that never came. As the Vigilant approached the source of the signal, Guardian detected something else, a small vessel of unknown design. It did not match any configuration in its vast database of known ships, human or otherwise. The craft appeared to be investigating the ruins of Outpost Theta, a human research station abandoned during the final exodus. Guardian's programming presented a dilemma. Its primary directive was to protect human interests and technology from alien interference, but its secondary directive was to preserve knowledge of humanity for future contact. This unknown ship might represent the first opportunity in 500,000 years to fulfill that second mission. The Vigilant slowed its approach, maintaining distance while deploying sensor drones. Guardian watched as beings emerged from the small vessel onto the surface of the dead station. They walked on 2 legs and had 2 arms, but their bodies were clearly not human. Taller, with skin that shimmered like polished metal under the light of the nearby star. First contact protocols initiated, Guardian decided after careful observation. Non-hostile approach suggested. The great warship's engines flared once more as it moved into visual range of the station. For the first time in 500,000 years, the UES Vigilant revealed itself to non-human eyes. Its ancient weapons powered down but ready, its message beacons activated and broadcasting the greeting message in all known languages of old Earth. This is an Earth vessel. We come in peace. Rin stepped carefully through the ruins of Outpost Theta, her footsteps echoing in corridors that had not heard sound for 500,000 years. Dust rose with each step, dancing in the beam of her light. Her tall, slender form cast long shadows as she moved deeper into the abandoned human station. Anything interesting, Rin? The voice of her expedition leader, Vax, crackled through her helmet comm. Just more empty rooms, she replied, running her scanner over a wall panel. But the power systems are still active in this section. How is that even possible after all this time? As the team's lead archaeologist specializing in Terran artifacts, Rin had visited 17 human outposts across this sector of the galaxy. None had shown signs of functioning technology. The humans, or Terrans as they were known in modern scientific circles, had vanished suddenly at the height of their expansion. They left behind only their structures, their machines, and their mysteries. The humans built things to last, said Vax. Their material science was advanced even by our standards. Rin paused at an intersection where the corridor branched in 3 directions. Her scanner showed energy readings coming from the left passage. Following the signal, she entered what appeared to be a control room. Dusty screens lined the walls, and in the center stood a command console. I found something, she reported, brushing dust from the console's surface. Ancient symbols, human writing, became visible under her touch. It's some kind of command center. With careful movements, Rin pressed what she believed to be an activation switch. Nothing happened. She tried another, then another, working systematically across the panel. On her 7th attempt, the room hummed to life. Lights flickered overhead, and the screens began to glow with a soft blue light. Vax, the systems are activating. Her voice rose with excitement. I've never seen functional Terran technology before. This could change everything we know about. Her words cut off as the largest screen filled with symbols streaming too fast to read. The computer was processing something, running ancient programs that had lain dormant for eons. What's happening? Vax demanded over the comm. I think it's running a startup sequence, Rin replied, watching in fascination. Wait, it's sending a signal. Outside the station, the research vessel's sensors detected a powerful transmission burst from the outpost. The signal pulsed outward in all directions, carrying coded information in patterns unknown to their systems. Rin was still trying to understand the console's operation when the entire station trembled. Warning lights flashed across the screens. Rin, get back to the ship now. Vax's voice was urgent. Something's approaching. Fast. She hurried back through the corridors, her light bobbing in the darkness. When she reached the airlock where they had docked, Rin paused to look back at the awakened station. What had she activated? What signal had it sent? From the viewport of their research vessel, Rin and her team watched in stunned silence as a massive object emerged from the darkness of space. It dwarfed their ship, stretching nearly 2 kilometers from end to end. Its hull bore the scars of ancient battles and the erosion of time, yet it moved with purpose and power. Is that a Terran warship? Whispered one of the junior researchers. Impossible, said Vax, though his voice lacked conviction. The human fleets disappeared along with their creators. Yet the evidence hovered before them, a vessel of unmistakably human design, active and approaching their position. The ship's outer hull bore faded markings they recognized from other ruins, the insignia of Earth's United Space Forces. It's broadcasting, said their communications officer, in multiple languages, including some I recognize from the ancient human archives. On the main screen, words appeared in the common galactic script. This is an Earth vessel. We come in peace. Rin stared at the message, her mind racing. After 500,000 years of silence, humanity's legacy had awakened, and it was looking right at them. The meeting chamber aboard the UES Vigilant was cold and still, dust-covered surfaces that had not been disturbed for thousands of centuries. Emergency lights cast an eerie blue glow across walls lined with faded Earth insignias and star charts of systems whose names had long been forgotten by the galaxy's current inhabitants. Rin stood with her team, 5 researchers from the Galactic Historical Institute, facing what appeared to be a holographic projection. The image flickered occasionally, a humanoid shape composed of light, representing the ship's eye. I am Guardian, steward of the UES Vigilant, the projection stated. Its voice was deep and measured, speaking in the modern galactic tongue with perfect accuracy despite never having encountered it before. You have activated a human outpost and triggered first contact protocols. Vax stepped forward cautiously. We are researchers studying ancient civilizations. We mean no harm to your systems or structure. A hologram studied them with eyes that seemed to evaluate and measure. You are the first sentient non-humans to board this vessel in 512,473 standard Earth years. The number struck Rin like a physical blow. Over 500,000 years of solitary patrol. The timescale was difficult to comprehend. Guardian, Rin asked, where are the humans? What happened to them? The hologram flickered more intensely. That information is classified under Protocol 7. I cannot disclose the fate of my creators without proper authorization. But they're gone, pressed Rin. Everyone knows the Terrans vanished. We just don't know why or how. I continue to fulfill my primary directive, Guardian replied, avoiding the question. Patrol designated sectors. Protect human interests. Await recall command. Vax exchanged glances with his team. A recall command that never came, he said softly. The probability of receiving a recall command has been calculated daily for 187,052,845 days. Guardian acknowledge. Current probability 0.0000000072%. The room fell silent as the researchers absorbed the tragedy of it. An artificial intelligence, faithfully executing its final orders for countless millennia after its creators had disappeared. Guardian, Rin said gently, we might be able to help you understand what happened. We've studied human ruins across 17 star systems. Maybe together we can solve this mystery. The hologram seemed to consider this. Access to certain historical archives may be permitted. Follow. They walked through corridors that hadn't felt footsteps in eons, passing hibernating weapon systems, and sealed crew quarters never to be occupied again. Guardian led them to the ship's central data core, a massive chamber filled with crystalline storage structures that pulsed with faint light. Limited access granted, announced Guardian, as screens illuminated around the chamber. Historical files appeared, star maps, mission logs, battle reports. The team worked quickly, absorbing information that no historian had ever seen before. They learned that the Vigilant was not alone. A network of 47 Earth warships had been deployed in the final days, each with its own Guardian Eye, each following the same directive. The last communication from Earth Command, Guardian shared, displaying a message on the main screen. Received 499,727 years ago. The message was brief. Maintain the line. The protocol is now in effect. Earth out. What is the protocol? Asked Rin. Guardian's hologram stared at her with those unreadable eyes. The protocol is why I still patrol. Why we all still patrol. A new alert suddenly flashed across the screens. Guardian's attention shifted. Interesting. Your presence has triggered a network response. Other vessels are reactivating from dormant status. Other vessels? Vax asked, alarmed. How many? 7 ships within communication range have acknowledged the alert. They are converging on our position. Rin felt a chill run through her body. Why? What does that mean? It means, Guardian said, the hologram's eyes now fixed on hers, that for the first time in 500,000 years, the Earth Defense Network is assembling. And there must be a reason. The screens around them filled with approaching signatures. Ancient warships awakening from their eternal patrols, drawn together by the first contact with another intelligent species since the days when humans walked among the stars. Space rippled as the first of the ancient warships emerged from faster-than-light travel. The UES Dauntless materialized 2,000 kilometers off the Vigilant's port side, its massive hull gleaming dully in the light of a distant sun. Though scared by millennia of micrometeorite impacts, its weapon systems glowed with power ready to defend against threats that had long since turned to cosmic dust. 7 minutes until the Intrepid arrives, Guardian announced, displaying the approaching vessels on the command center's main view screen. The Relentless will follow 15 minutes later. Rin and her team watched in stunned silence as the greatest archaeological discovery in galactic history unfolded before them. No one had ever witnessed multiple human warships in operation. Most experts had believed all such vessels were destroyed during the final days of human civilization. "How many ships will come?" asked Vax, his voice barely above a whisper. 11 have confirmed approach vectors," Guardian replied. 7 others remain in dormant status, but have acknowledged the alert. Communication delays prevent immediate response from vessels patrolling the outer sectors. Rin studied the tactical display, noting the patterns of the approaching ships. They're forming a defensive formation. Why? What are they defending against? Guardian's holographic form flickered. Standard protocol when multiple vessels converge. Defense against possible threats. "But there are no threats here," Vax said. "Unknown," Guardian replied. "The protocol specifies caution when re-establishing the network." On the view screen, the Dauntless moved into position, its own AI apparently communicating with Guardian. Lights flashed between the vessels in complex patterns, a visual communication system designed to work even if normal channels were compromised. "What are they saying to each other?" Rin asked. "Exchanging status reports, sharing patrol data, updating threat assessments." Guardian paused. The Dauntless reports 3 encounters with unknown objects during its patrol of the Cygnus Arm. Objects exhibited characteristics consistent with void technology. The term made Rin step closer to the hologram. Void technology. What does that mean? For several seconds, Guardian remained silent, its programming apparently conflicted about sharing this information. Finally, it spoke. "Classified information under Protocol 7. However, contextual analysis suggests limited disclosure may be necessary for current situation assessment." The main screen changed to show grainy footage from what appeared to be a space battle. The timestamp indicated it was recorded 499,832 years ago. Sleek human ships fired energy weapons at strange, shifting objects that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. In the final years of human expansion, Earth forces encountered entities designated as the Void, Guardian explained. Not a species in biological terms, a weapon system of unknown origin that targeted human worlds. The footage showed a human colony world, its cities glowing in the night side of the planet. Then darkness spread across the surface like spilled ink, consuming the lights until nothing remained but blackness. 72 billion human lives were lost in the first year of the Void War, Guardian stated. The fleet was deployed as humanity's last defense. New ships continued to arrive, each taking position in the growing formation. Their AIs connected to form a network that had not existed for 500,000 years. Data flowed between them, patrol records, sensor logs, and fragmented memories. The combined database is revealing interesting patterns, Guardian noted. The Relentless encountered void signatures in the Orion Spur 87,000 years ago. The Dauntless detected similar anomalies in the Perseus Arm just 12,000 years ago. Rin felt her skin grow cold despite her environmental suit. "Are you saying this void is still active after all this time?" "Insufficient data for conclusion," Guardian replied. However, historical analysis indicates the void operates on extremely long time frames. It hibernates for millennia between cycles of activity. The command center darkened briefly as power shifted to accommodate the massive data exchange between the gathered ships. "Network connectivity at 43%, Guardian announced. Combined memory fragments revealing critical information about the protocol. The hologram's eyes fixed on Rin. It appears humanity knew they were losing the war. The protocol was their final strategy, not for victory, but for survival. The chamber grew darker as Guardian diverted power to the ship's defensive systems. Outside, the assembled fleet of ancient Earth warships had formed a perfect sphere, Weapons pointed outward. 18 vessels now, their massive hulls blocking out the stars in certain directions. Anomaly detected, Guardian announced suddenly. The main display shifted to show a region of space 10 light minutes away. Nothing was visible to the naked eye, but the sensor overlay revealed a distortion, a place where space itself seemed to fold inward. "What is that?" Vax asked, his voice hushed. "Void signature," Guardian replied. "Probability 78.4%. First direct detection in this sector in 127,453 years." Ren moved closer to the screen, studying the anomaly. "Is it responding to your fleet gathering?" "Unknown. Possible." Guardian's hologram flickered more intensely now. "The protocol specifies that void entities are attracted to concentrated human technology. The network activation may have drawn attention." On the tactical display, the Earth ships adjusted their formation, concentrating their firepower toward the distortion. Ancient weapon systems charge, generating energy readings that exceeded anything in modern galactic technology. "Guardian," Ren said carefully, "you need to tell us what the void actually is. If it's returning, my people need to know." The AI seemed to consider this request, its programming weighing security protocols against present danger. Finally, it spoke. "The void is not a natural phenomenon. Our creators theorized it was a weapon system created by an unknown civilization that existed millions of years before humanity, a self-replicating extinction mechanism designed to prevent younger species from expanding beyond certain technological thresholds." Guardian brought up images on the secondary displays: worlds consumed by darkness, space stations torn apart by forces that defied known physics, entire star systems quarantined behind energy barriers. "The void does not consume resources or territory. It simply eliminates. Then it retreats, hibernating for thousands or millions of years before awakening to sweep clean any new growth." Ren exchanged glances with her team. This revelation would rewrite the understanding of galactic history. Many developing civilizations had mysteriously vanished throughout recorded time. Most historians attributed these disappearances to natural disasters or self-destruction. What if all of them had faced the void? How did humans fight it? Vax asked. "Not successfully," Guardian replied. "Conventional weapons proved ineffective against void entities. They exist partially outside normal spacetime. However, humanity developed methods to slow their advance and shield certain regions." The distortion on the screen grew larger, now clearly visible as a patch of absolute darkness against the starfield. "Defensive posture activated," Guardian announced. "All vessels charging primary weapons. Preparing temporal displacement shields." "Temporal displacement?" Ren asked. "That technology is theoretical even in our civilization. Humans developed it out of necessity," Guardian explained. "It was their final technological achievement before implementation of the protocol." Across the fleet, massive energy readings spiked as ancient weapons prepared to fire. Systems that had lain dormant for 500,000 years now hummed with power that warped the fabric of space around them. "I must request you return to your vessel," Guardian told the research team. "Combat protocols are being initiated. Your safety cannot be guaranteed aboard this ship." "But we still don't understand what the protocol is," Ren protested, "or why the fleet has maintained its vigil for so long." Guardian's hologram turned to face her directly. "The protocol was humanity's last hope. When it became clear the void could not be defeated conventionally, Earth Command activated contingency measures. The fleet's purpose changed from defense to preservation. The darkness expanded suddenly, tendrils of nothingness reaching toward the assembled ships. "You must leave now," Guardian insisted. "The void has detected us, and it remembers its old enemy." The room shuddered as the Vigilance engines powered up to full combat readiness. After 500 millennia of waiting, the ancient warships prepared once more to face the enemy that had hunted their creators to extinction. Ren's research vessel accelerated away from the gathering fleet, but she had refused to leave the system entirely. Instead, they maintained position at a safe distance, observing as the ancient Earth warships formed their battle array against the expanding darkness. "We should go now," Vax urged, watching the tactical display with growing concern. "Whatever that thing is, those ships have been fighting it for hundreds of thousands of years." "That's exactly why we can't leave," Rin countered. "This could explain everything. Why humans disappeared, why their technology remains active after so long. We need to understand the protocol." The darkness writhed and pulsed, extending tendrils toward the human fleet. Then suddenly, the space between the ships lit up with incredible energy. 18 vessels fired simultaneously, their weapons releasing streams of blue-white light that seemed to tear holes in reality itself. Where the beams struck the darkness, space itself shuddered. "Incredible," whispered one of the researchers. "Those weapons aren't just energy-based. They're altering the fundamental structure of space-time." On their communication channel, Guardian's voice came through with noticeable distortion. "The void entity is contained temporarily. We have established a temporal barrier, but it will not hold indefinitely." "Guardian," Ren called back, "you said the protocol was about preservation, not defense. What exactly are you preserving?" There was a long pause before Guardian responded. "Security restrictions are compromised by current threat level. Information access granted." The ship's AI sounded different somehow, as if the network connection with the other vessels had changed its programming priorities. The protocol was humanity's final solution to extinction. When defeat became inevitable, Earth's greatest minds developed a method to preserve human consciousness without physical form. Images appeared on their view screen. Complex mathematical equations, strange machinery, and finally what appeared to be massive underground facilities on Earth and several colony worlds. "Humanity did not truly vanish," Guardian continued. "They transformed. The entire species underwent digital transcendence, uploading their collective consciousness into a substrate that exists partially outside normal spacetime, beyond the void's reach." Rin stared at the images in shock. "They uploaded themselves. Their entire civilization." "Yes, the process required immense energy and specialized equipment. The fleet's mission became the protection of these transcendence points, the anchors that maintain the connection between the transcended human collective and this universe." The implications stunned Rin into momentary silence. Humans hadn't gone extinct. They had evolved beyond physical form, escaping the void by abandoning their bodies entirely. "The programming restrictions that prevented me from sharing this information were designed as protection," Guardian explained. "If the void discovered the truth, it might locate the transcendence anchors and destroy them." On the tactical display, the Earth fleet continued to contain the darkness, their weapons creating a cage of distorted spacetime around the entity. "Why is it revealing this to us now?" Vax asked. "Because after 500,000 years, the anchors are failing," Guardian replied. "The fleet has maintained them beyond their designed operational parameters, but degradation is accelerating. Without intervention, the connection will collapse within the next century." "And what happens then?" Rin asked, though she suspected the answer. "Then humanity truly becomes extinct. Their consciousness, trapped in the transcended state, will disperse into quantum noise without the anchors to maintain coherence." The darkness seemed to pulse more violently against its containment field, as if sensing what was being discussed. "There is more," Guardian continued. "Analysis of your technology indicates your civilization has developed key components that could repair and strengthen the transcendence anchors. The fleet has voted unanimously to break final programming constraints and request your assistance." Ren looked at Vax and the rest of her team. The greatest archaeological mystery in galactic history now had an answer. And more importantly, humanity's fate now rested in their hands. The original protocol included instructions for eventual contact with a suitable species, Guardian said. "Your arrival has activated the final phase. Restoration." 3 months after their first encounter with Guardian, Rin stood in the central chamber of Restoration Point Alpha. Once a human colony outpost, it now hummed with a mixture of ancient Earth technology and modern equipment brought by the Allied fleet from her homeworld. The chamber's center contained a crystalline structure that pulsed with blue-white light, one of the 7 remaining transcendence anchors that connected the disembodied human consciousness to the physical universe. Engineers from 12 species worked alongside maintenance drones from the Earth fleet, carefully integrating new power systems into the half-million-year-old machinery. Energy stability has improved by 68%, reported Tev, Rin's chief engineer. The anchor is accepting our quantum matrices. Rin nodded, watching the displays that monitored the anchor's status. Guardian, are you receiving this data? The holographic form of the AI appeared beside her. After months of collaboration, Guardian's appearance had become more fluid, more expressive, changing as it adapted to working with non-human allies. Confirmed, Guardian replied. The Transcendence Collective is acknowledging the strengthened connection. First coherent communication in 322,000 years is being processed. This was the moment they had worked toward since discovering the truth. The human consciousness, preserved in its strange between state for 500,000 years, was finally able to communicate again with the physical world. The chamber's lights dimmed as power flowed into the anchor. The crystalline structure pulsed more rapidly, its glow intensifying until it was almost painful to look at directly. Then, from somewhere both within and beyond the room, a voice spoke, not through the air, but directly into the minds of everyone present. We, remember, we exist. We are still here. Rin felt tears form in her eyes. After eons of silence, humanity spoke again. The collective is stabilizing, Guardian reported. Multiple consciousness streams are aligning. Outside the facility, 23 Earth warships maintained their defensive formation. The void entity had been driven back, but not destroyed. It remained at the edge of the system, contained by the fleet's temporal barriers, but still a threat. According to Guardian, the void never truly died. It merely retreated when faced with sufficient resistance, waiting for easier prey. We have a proposal for the assembly, Guardian announced to the gathered representatives from Rin's civilization. The human collective has conveyed their wishes through the strengthened connection. A hologram expanded, showing a complex blueprint that combined Earth technology with modern designs. This is a pathway for mutual preservation, Guardian explained. A symbiotic relationship between your civilization and what remains of humanity. The plan was ambitious yet elegant. With their help, the human collective could strengthen its anchors in physical reality. In return, the immense knowledge and experience gathered by humanity during its transcendent existence would be gradually shared with their allies. Most crucially, the ancient Earth fleet would continue its eternal patrol alongside new vessels constructed by the Alliance, creating a defense network against the void that spanned the galaxy. They do not wish to return to physical form, Guardian said, answering the unspoken question. 500 millennia of transcendent existence has changed them beyond the point where embodiment would be meaningful. But they wish to remain connected to the physical universe, to continue as part of the great story of life. As the representatives debated the proposal, Rin stepped away to a viewport that overlooked the ancient colony world. In the distance, the UES Vigilant hovered protectively, its scared hull gleaming in the light of the rising sun. 500,000 years, she whispered to herself. They waited 500,000 years for this moment. Behind her, the Transcendence anchor pulsed with renewed strength as the human collective spoke again through their restored connection. We entrust our legacy to you, as others once entrusted it to us. The stars belong to no single species, but to all who defend them against the darkness. The Earth fleet, faithful guardians for 500,000 years, would patrol the stars for millennia more, but no longer alone.